Hey everyone, welcome to the Saturday Racing Mini Betting Preview. My name is Reese, and as part of this series for InvestorBet, I go through and preview my first betting race from Melbourne and Sydney every Saturday. If you look through the Randwick meeting for tomorrow, all 10 races on the card are feature races. You have 4 Group 1s, race 6, race 7, race 8, and race 9, plus a few Group 3s, a Group 2, and the Country Championships final worth $1 million in there. So I'm going to go through my first betting race at Randwick, but before we get to that one, we'll go through Caulfield, the first bet from there. Caulfield tomorrow is a good 4. The rail is out 4 meters, and the purpose of this video is to share with you the horse I'm backing, but also the reasons why I'm backing it, just like I do for members as part of the racing show. Give you all my bets on a Saturday. Generally, there's about 20 on a Saturday, 10 on a Wednesday, and I share with you in a video similar to this of why I'm backing every single runner. And if you follow those selections, you make between 400 and 500 units profit every year. That means whatever your average stake is, say your stake is $50, times that by 400 to 500, and that'll be what your profit is per year betting those 2 days a week on racing, plus any public holidays and Friday night meetings over the summer. They're all the metro racing meetings that I cover around Australia. Because not only do I bet Melbourne, Sydney, but also Brisbane, Adelaide, and Perth as well. But getting into this Caulfield one, the first bet is race 1, which is over the 1800 meters. I'll bring up the form guide for it so you guys can see all the runners. So Caulfield being a good 4, the conditions for Caulfield are fine, so they should be running on a good surface. There's a little bit of wind around, but nothing really major. If anything, it's a little bit behind them on the side and into the home straight. And with the rail out 4 meters, it potentially could favor on speed a little bit, especially with the rail out 4 meters as well. The reason for that is last time the rail was out 4, it was back in the end of January, and quite a lot of leaders were able to win that day. It wasn't just a leader complete bias that we can sometimes see, but it was more of an advantage to be up on speed. Didn't mean you couldn't make ground, but you did need the tempo to suit. But based on what we've seen previously in this rail position, we shouldn't see what happened a couple of weeks ago at Caulfield, where the fence was completely off and they're right out in the middle of the track. So race 1 from the 1800, what you always want to do is make sure you're aware of where that race starts from. So the 1800 meters is down there on the side, basically just out of the turn from the home straight. So they come down here, around and into the home straight down to the finishing post. So for this race, slightly against the favorite number 4, Mukhtalif, who is an overseas runner having its first start in Australia. I'll come back to that one in a second, as that's the only runner I feel is the danger to number 10, Engine of War, who's currently $5.50 to $6. For me personally, I don't back a lot of horses in this price range. Generally, a lot of my bets are somewhere between $2.50 and $3.50 if you want to kind of average it out, because for me that is what has worked for like 14-15 years. But I think Engine of War is significant overs here, getting up to the 1800 meters. This horse resumed at Caulfield, but on the Heath track, which is the inner circuit at Caulfield, which is a track where it's not really easy to either make up ground, and you kind of really need races to be run to suit. So the race was won by Savitri, but Engine of War ran into second in that race. And overall, it was a very good performance. I'll use Sportsbet here to give you guys the replay of that race, because Cartwright was on there over the 1500 meters and settled back in the field. As they're about to jump away here, you can see Engine of War in the inside gate here. Gets out fairly clean. It's a horse that doesn't have a huge amount of early speed. Majority of all its runs. Slides back just the field of 6 runners, but settles last on the fence here as we go through the mid stages, and doesn't need to go around the field, so it ends up saving ground along the inside. But 1500 meters, which is this race, is run over. We'll pause it here. The winner, Savitri, is in the blue, light blue and dark blue silks. That horse had the run of the race, 1 out, 1 back. It just peels around them there. But 1500 meters for Engine of War is definitely a distance short of its best. Cartwright gets up along the inside here to run into a solid second placing. Savitri hasn't had a start since, but does go around equal favorite there in tomorrow at Caulfield in race number 4. So Engine of War holds down into second there, beaten about a length right on the line. Love it getting up to the 1800 meters off that run. I think it's going to be better for that. Had two trials leading in over the 1000 and 1200. This one over the 1200 was fifth and wasn't really all that far behind horses like Red Galaxy and She's a Hustler. So looks ready to go here, second up off that. Weight-wise, drops from 59.5 kilos that it carried last start down to 53.5 kilos. So a 6 kilo weight drop for the step up from a 66 to a 74. Now it is coming out of a midweek race, but you go back through its form from last preparation. Won over the 1500 meters in a close finish to There Were Roses, then stepped up to the 1800 meters at Flemington and just missed behind Autumn Mystery. And then you had Options out there in third. And those three all virtually hit the line locked together. Autumn Mystery, it actually does race tomorrow at Caulfield as well, but we go back through to last preparation. Autumn Mystery backed up that win ahead of Engine of War, where it was only a 0.06 length, with a Group 3 win the following start. And then also, if we bring up Options, who was one of those three that hit the line together over the 1800 meter distance last time, it followed up that performance with a win ahead of Miwa over the 1800 in a listed race. So I like the fact that both Autumn Mystery and Options went on following that and won. So that gives me a really strong indication that the performance of Engine of War there was really, really strong. Went to the Group 3 and then was comfortably beaten, but did start $2.70 favorite and ridden against its pattern in this race by going forward. So I think the key with Engine of War is to be ridden with that bit of cover, but I don't want to be back last tomorrow. So I'm hoping that Luke Cartwright can just hold up from barrier number 4, being the first 6 in running. I'm happy with the third pair in running, one off the fence. I think that would be the ideal position. Then, so I feel like this kind of breaks down at $6. There's plenty in its favor. I'm against the Cursed and Hallowed Halls form. Those horses ran 1-2 with Hallowed Halls winning around the Heath Circuit last time, and Cursor in second in that race. However, it was a bit of a bunch finish between quite a number of them. If you click on the runner and bring up the full results of the race, you get the margin. So as you go through, you can see the first 5 on the line were all within 0.8 of a length of each other, and Hallowed Halls and Cursed there 1-2. Hallowed Halls had the run of the race there from barrier number 1 and was the one entitled to win off of that. Other runners in this race that I want to quickly mention: Filio d'Argento. Barrier number 10 makes things difficult. We did get a win out of this horse 3 starts back at the midweeks when Brad Ruilla went to the front and didn't really give anything else a chance. Steps up from a 70 where it ran third behind Zakuma, which is definitely a nice form line. We had the Zakuma last Saturday who absolutely bolted in, but barrier number 10 has to go forward from there. Might just be tiring late, and Engine of War can run over the top of it. Now, getting to the current favorite, Mukhtalif. I mentioned this horse has had 5 runs overseas. They've all been over 2,000 to 2,050 meters and has won 2, run second twice, and run third in the other one. They brought it over to Australia, trained by Kieran Maher. It's had 2 jump outs to get ready. The first at Camperdown, and then winning the latest over 1,500 meters on the Caulfield Heath circuit. Now, this was a really good solid trial, and those two put a good margin on Ardashir, who finished third, but that horse has come out and bolted in at Pakenham since that trial. This is obviously harder than that race, but for me, at $4.20 compared to $6 for Mukhtalif, first up in Australia, over 1,800 meters, hasn't also raced since October last year, so you're looking at near enough to 6 months between races, traveling over, first run in Australia. Barrier 11 isn't easy for Ben Allen either as to where this horse gets to in the run. It more than likely goes forward, but from there could potentially be covering extra ground early in the race. So in the opener therefore, with that in mind, more than happy backing Engine of War to take out the opener at Caulfield tomorrow. Then we go to Randwick. So I just want to share with you my first bet from Randwick. All the bets and everything I'm betting on for tomorrow is all posted in the members area, which you can access through the link in the description. But race 1 at Randwick tomorrow is over the 1,100 meters. So they start on the side here, run down the side and around into the home straight. Weather-wise, there is rain around for this meeting leading up to it, so through Friday night and Saturday morning. So they're absolutely going to be running on a soft surface. I don't think it's going to get into the heavy range based on the current track rating being a soft 5, but is probably going to be pushing soft 6, soft 7, kind of in that range. I don't see it being worse than that. The opening race is a really good one. You've got a lot of runners here all coming out of the same race as last start, which is the Warwick Farm lead up over the 1,000 meters. That was won by the next episode, who is the horse that I'm going to be backing here. It's not one with a huge amount of confidence, but off what I saw with it do on debut, I think it is going to be extremely hard to beat. But it's a race with there is danger. So I want to share with you my thought process behind it. So the next episode beat home Under Focus in that race and did it comfortably. It was a comfortable win. We'll get to it in a second. But Under Focus has come out and won at Kensington about a week and a half ago. Now, Under Focus was outside the lead in the Kensington win and was able to pick up the win. Kensington that day was absolutely on fire for leaders and or horses outside lead, and then fenced in the run, like generally in the box seat behind the leader. So I don't want to put like too much weight behind it. That's the only thing that worries me a little bit. Had the Kensington circuit been playing fair and Under Focus come out and won like it did, then I'd be even more confident in the next episode taking this out. But at least it got the win. Steel Wheel ran third in that race, does lose Nash Willa and gets James McDonald taking over, and also drops 1.5 kilos off that run, which so do the rest of them. So there's no advantage from that perspective. Steel Wheel was a little bit wide there over the 1,000 meters as well, where the other two weren't. However, the 1,000 at the Warwick Farm isn't like the absolute worst starting position and track to be caught wide from that over that distance. So you don't want to put too much weight behind that. And the next episode was comfortably holding it. Here we have it. So Steel Wheel there is in the yellow silks rolling forward. The next episode, who's the horse we'll be backing tomorrow. It's just outside the runner in the pink there in the white silks with the black hat. Does land in a perfect spot. You'll notice Steel Wheel caught wide. Under Focus rolls forward, sits outside the lead in this race in the exact same spot that it sat when it backed up this performance with the win at Kensington. So as they come towards the turn and rounding the bend here into the home straight, you'll notice the next episode is getting a perfect run. And, you know, on like first up, getting a perfect run and then winning, you know, well, okay, you don't want to put too much weight behind it. But as they straighten up here, you'll notice Dylan Gibbons on this runner just outside is trying to keep Jason Collett in a pocket and not let him clear. And for 2-year-olds to take a gap like the next episode did just there and just push its way into the clear. And so it's ridden out to the line here under majority hands and heels right through the line and running away from them. And a little bit there eased up on the post as well. The next episode has been back to the trials since then and ran a nice second behind Tornado Valley. Is back here third in the running line with the white silks and the red cap. So as they come down here, peels to the outside, not fully pushed out, just lightly ridden, like barely anything. Tornado Valley, who wins the trial, is there in the orange, but cruises up right along the outside. So just about a perfect trial in between runs. Second up, this preparation I think can go to another level, and I think had plenty more to give. And when you see horses take gaps like this horse did first up, especially 2-year-olds as well, you have to give them a lot of credit for that. So I'm comfortable that the next episode, especially with the run that it maps to get from barrier number 6, has Under Focus and also Steel Wheel covered. Outside of that, Incognito hasn't really done a lot this preparation, but does bring Golden Slipper form. Comfortably beaten in that race, but you know, drawn out of it, barrier 13. There's plenty of excuses there. Ended up last in the run, so it can bounce back. This is definitely a much easier race for it, and in with the 56.5 kilos is suited from that perspective. So it's a very minor chance, but needs to improve significantly. And then outside of that runner, the only other 2 chances in the race around this $5 to $7 mark. Ariam is one that I have a little bit of a watch on. This horse debuted at Warwick Farm over the 1,000 meters and ran second to Satano Glow. And that horse went down to Flemington and bolted in following that start, winning by 3 lengths. So that's a good ticket there for Ariam. However, when you line up the times and sectionals, the times for the next episode who won over the same distance on the same day was significantly better. Ariam does drop to the 54.5 kilos, so that is the big thing in its favor in terms of a weight drop and gets the inside gate here. But I do think is going to have to improve significantly, and I just think there's a lot more upside with the next episode, so I'm happy to be against it. And then number 9, the Blue Door, not the Blue Door. This runner has just had the one trial leading in, so it's a little bit tricky to line up. Was on a heavy 8 at Rose Hill over 900 meters and went to the front and won by a big space. You can often see Bjorn Baker horses do this, but I think it's just might be a bit of a stretch to run out a strong 1100 with a bit of give in the ground here against some horses that have shown good ability so far. So this is one of those races where if you've watched my videos previously, or you're watching this and you've been part of Invest About Racing, you'll know that I'm always looking for races where I can narrow it down to one runner, or one runner with a danger or two dangers. This is a case where I'm pretty confident the next episode wins, and there's just really minor chances with a couple of other runners in the race. In this situation, happy to back the next episode, especially with the run that it's going to get. It all sets up really nicely. So those are my first bets. Race 1 at Caulfield, Engine of War. Race 1 at Randwick tomorrow, the next episode. If you're following along, good luck. If one of these two selections win, then you profit on the day, especially if Engine of War gets up at the $6. If you want to follow the rest of the selections for tomorrow, there's about 20 of them. They're already posted in the members area right now. You can go to the link in the description, set up your account, get access, get the full preview of everything we're betting as well. In the members preview, I go through the runners a little bit quicker than I do in this video. But also, if you're interested in the results and that kind of thing, whether you're following with promotions or without promotions, you can see the results of what it is month per month and the results of every single bet that I've ever posted for the past 4 years, all on the website. So definitely you're welcome to go to that link, check it out, put the link to the results in the description as well, so you can have a look at that and you can see like the transparency of the results, like how back in October 2021 it started at 0 blank canvas. Besides, like, I wasn't including what I'd done personally previously for 10 years prior to that. It was blank canvas, add 0, and then built it up from there. And we're closing in on nearly 2,000 units profit across the 4 and a bit years that it's been now. And on that sheet that has the results of every single bet and the horse that we've backed, that gets updated after every race day. So you can monitor that as well if you really want to. So that being said, good luck with all your bets tomorrow. If you're betting on the racing, big round of NRL and AFL as well. There's previews on this channel for all the matches for this weekend and the try scorers. So absolutely have a look at those if you're interested as well. But have a great weekend. Happy Easter to everyone, and really appreciate you guys watching this video and being a part of the Investor Bet YouTube channel. See you guys in the next one.